Listen in. Street News Now.
And welcome to the show. It's Lee Michaels and the guys. I call it Thursday Night Live with the five guys and you. How you like that, huh? Since we've been struggling with to come up with an official name for the show, I'm throwing that out there as a possibility. And if you've got some ideas of what you'd like to call this show, text it in the chat room. Whether you're coming from Facebook or YouTube, and wherever you're coming from, if you're listening to us on any of the 8 different platforms, just go ahead and subscribe, like, and share so we can build up our followers and grow the show in a big way. Thank you very much for doing that. And the check is in the mail. Again, welcome to the show. My name is Lee Michaels. You're watching and listening to Street News Now. We do this every Thursday at 8 p.m. Central Time. And I keep saying that because most of the guys are in Central. So I'm out here on the left coast, and it's 6:02 here. So 9 o'clock on the East Coast. How's that? And if you live in the mountains, to hell with you. You're crazy. Why would you be out there with goats and stuff up there in the mountains? What is that all about? I don't get that. But anyway, we've got an exciting show. And let me bring in the crew here to get the show started. Welcome, Dr. Ron. How are you tonight?
Doing wonderful, sir. Still glad to be alive.
Well, that's a good thing. And here's Chris Bass in the house like a child on punishment.
Boom, shakalaka. How you doing, gentlemen?
Rockin', jockin', and finger popping. And there's the pro.
Hey, how you doing?
Right,
I am here, and we're going to do what we do each and every Thursday.
All right. And our newest member to the crew is Francisco in the house. What's up? How you doing, buddy?
Another day in paradise. All good.
All right. Isn't that the truth? Well, the vaccine is being distributed nationwide. The new one, Johnson & Johnson, is on the streets now. I just want to throw out a question to each of you in terms of how you feel about the Johnson & Johnson existence now. Dr. Ron, what's your thought on it?
I think all of it is a bunch of BS myself, but Johnson & Johnson, has a one-shot deal, okay, which is going to appeal to a lot of people. I think that this whole vaccination thing has given so many people a false sense of security to the point where Mississippi, Alabama, Texas have now all opened up without no masks because we got vaccinations. So I think it's a bad message to be sending. We got 3 vaccinations out there. And according to the rules and regulations of taking the vaccinations, which the professor can speak to more than I can, they still tell you to wear a mask, still stay 6 feet away from people. There's no, okay, you can go out there and get back to playing and doing everything that you used to do because you still have to stay away and be safe. So I think it's a false sense of security. Myself personally, I think that these people are prematurely, jumping the gun because they're using that 3rd vaccination is like, well, we got 3 vaccinations. We okay. We can go back out in the world now.
Yeah. In theory, they can satisfy 300 plus million people in a shorter period of time now because of the 3rd one and because that's a one-shot deal. So if Johnson is making available 1 million by the end of May, that's a third of the almost a third of the population in America, from Jump Street. But I'll save my comments. Chris, what are your thoughts?
Well, first of all, whoever wants to get the vaccination, you have to do. You have to survive, and people have reasons, obviously, for doing it. Nothing wrong with that. I just say do your due diligence always and do your research about the companies that are giving out the vaccinations. Johnson & Johnson, in general, has a bad reputation. If you watch a television, of course, you'll see a legal commercial come out. If you suffered from, say, cancer due to Johnson & Johnson baby powder, in conversation before, yeah, you might want to be kind of leery. because the company knew exactly what they were doing. Having baby powder that causes cancer and ingredients, they didn't care, because as long as they got, the product out, the dollar amount and everything else, it's like humans be damned. So again, when you're doing this, please ask the right questions. There are no wrong questions to ask. Do your due diligence, do your research. And once again, we had the option to take it or not. And again, people have to realize that this is serious out here. So for example, you get the shot and you want to go out there back to society, you have to wear the mask and still social distance, because there's other people who are still not in compliance yet with the vaccine and everything else. So it's going to take time. So you do it to protect yourself when you go out there still, regardless of getting the shot. If it's a 2-shot or a 1-shot deal, still got to practice the guidelines that will get us out of this.
Well, that's the hope, at least. Let's go with Francisco. What are your thoughts?
Well, I definitely will piggyback on
you
what
muted.
Chris was saying.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Maybe it might be my bad here.
Hey there, can you hear
go
me?
now.
Can you hear me?
You're still muted for some reason.
Hello? I didn't change anything on my end.
I don't have you muted on my end.
I can hear him.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I can hear him.
Okay.
You want my glasses?
Everything looks good. Well,
And
all right.
Now,
So
now we can see him. And now we can see him. Yes, there he is.
Is anybody hearing anything?
Yeah, I can hear him.
I don't know what happened. I'm not getting it.
We'll take a shot then.
Professor?
I can hear him. I'm good.
Did I do something on my end to screw this up?
Yeah.
I'm not hearing anyone now. Are you guys hearing me?
Yeah.
Yes.
We can. Yes.
That's okay. Now talk.
Yes.
We
Yeah.
are now experiencing
That was
technical
on
difficulties.
My end,
Yeah.
my bad.
Check
I
your
had one button on the mixer wrong.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's go with Francisco. Go.
Sure. Take two.
Take two.
I will piggyback on what Chris said. I tend to carry grudges, and when I heard about what Johnson & Johnson is alleged to have done, which is knowingly put out to market a product that had carcinogenic agents that they were fully aware of, I say F Johnson & Johnson. And with regard to the vaccines in general, until further notice, I try not to be an early adopter, so I'm going to be a free rider until something changes that compels me to take the vaccine. I am right now planning not to take it.
I'm running into more and more people that are saying the same thing. And I'm kind of 50-50 at this point. But let's get to the professor here and let's get his take.
Too late. I got mine. I like I said, when I went in there, man, when I went in there last week, I had the payback plan in my mind. I need those hits. Give me those hits. The same ones. I got to get that, I can't take no chance, it's a dice game. I'm going to roll the dice. But even though that I took those shots, I'm still in the house. I'm still quarantining, because until everybody else does what I've done or whatever's happening until it settles down, I'm still staying inside. I am not, listen, I'm COVID. I'm not COVID tired. We can COVID another year as far as I'm concerned, because I'm not going out there until they get a handle on what's going on. When they say that they're opening up the Bulls Stadium, when 20,000, 24,000 people can go there, I'm going there. When they can go to Soldier Field, then that. When they can do those sports activities and it's all cool, then I'll proceed to what was. But up until that time, I'm using the yellow light. I'm proceeding with caution, man.
Yeah. And I think many people of color, are kind of taking the same position. And I know there's a big push to get Latinos and Native Americans and African Americans to get in line and get the shot. And the good thing is we have that option. It's not a mandate. You know, you're not going to get shot in the head if you don't take the shot. That's a bad shot. But so you have the option. And I'm not trying to discourage anyone, but I want to make sure that everybody's fully educated and understand that what you can or cannot do. So that being said, use your own best judgment to determine whether or not the shot is right for you at this point in time. Now, personally, this is my personal opinion. I'm in that age bracket where they say, you know, you should take it. I'm 70 years old. I'll be 71 in May. I've made it so far without getting the virus. I'm going to remain quarantined as long as it takes until I know, until in my heart and mind and soul that this thing is solid, these vaccines I'm speaking of, then I'll take it. But at this point in time, we don't know what we don't know. In my opinion, there hasn't been enough testing long enough to know all of these side effects, and every drug has some type of side effect. Maybe minimal, but it has something because it's just not a perfect situation in that regard. And excuse the jingles, take it easy. You're not supposed to be on the talk show, okay? Take it easy. So that's how I feel about it. I'm not trying to discourage anyone from doing it. If you feel comfortable with it, go for it. If you're a little skeptical, then do all the things necessary to make sure that you are safe and the people in your immediate environment. Keep your environment clean. I have a routine every day. I wipe down all door handles, light switches, faucets, toilet seats, everything that you touch on a regular basis. I put the Lysol, the Clorox little wipes. That's my job up in here. I take care of that on a daily basis. I wipe down my door handles on my car, my steering wheel, the stick shift, the buttons on the dashboard on a regular basis as well. And I don't hang out with a lot of people. I don't go out in crowds. I don't go to events and what have you. The biggest event for me is the grocery store. And I wipe down everything I touch in there as well. So that's my routine. That's my personal routine. And I hope that everyone else is doing something very similar to that. And that way, I think we can maintain our immediate environment, and then that will hopefully spread everywhere else. Now, I've heard that the flu this season has been down, and I wonder why. I can tell you what I think, because we've been better at managing our environment, cleaning better. We're not touching, shaking hands and kissing and hugging and high-fiving and all of that. So the contact is less between people than what it used to be. And maybe we should keep that in play to a certain degree. I'm not trying to be paranoid. Some people don't like to shake hands and all. Well, I miss that. But if you wash your damn hands or wipe your hands with some kind of disinfectant on a regular basis, that might help stop the spread. In other words, kill the vehicle that translates or transmits these different germs, viruses, germs, whatever. Do that, and I think it'll help the world.
Yeah, so look at what the Chinese did after SARS in '93. Since then, when you see Asians coming off of planes, they had a surgical mask on. So they changed their behavior to accommodate the reality of the situation that they had. And unfortunately, Americans don't seem to want to do that. At least half of them don't, you know?
Yeah. I got a question. Do you think that science would be better served trying to make sure that they have a cure versus a vaccine?
Well, which comes first, the chicken or the egg?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
to get utopia, you're talking about a cure. Hell, they've been trying to get a cure for the common cold forever. the flu.
Yeah.
You
And
know,
in fact, there's
cancer.
never even been a vaccine for coronavirus ever in history.
Right.
So this is a big step that they've even developed a vaccine. But I feel the same way you do, Lee, which is it honestly seems to me that right now is when the trials are happening. They're doing live trials on humans.
Absolutely.
I can't prove that
But it
I'm not
is.
married to that idea, but that's what it kind of seems like to me.
Yeah. The scientists are saying they're not sure about each age bracket. Should babies get it at this point? Young people, elementary school, middle school, high school, should they be getting it? They don't know. They don't
Right.
really know. So it's a best guess at best. You can guess at it and maybe, well, based on what we've seen so far, but that's not 100%.
Yeah, and there were a couple of people that got the vaccine and died 2 weeks later of
Yeah,
coronavirus.
a number of people they're saying.
So and again, it's like we're all saying, it's there's no one size fits all situation here,
Yeah.
and you have to take into account the reality of your life, your health conditions, all that stuff. Your age, all that. There are so many variables involved in this, and this is early on. I mean, we have some of the lessons of the 1918 pandemic, which have been mostly ignored, and we've seen pandemics since then around the world, and there's some realities that you just have to face and accept if you want to get through it, or at least if you want to have the best chance of getting through it. That's why I believe in. Once the quarantine came, I just assumed that this was going to be my life for at least 2 years. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
And I'll be fine with that. And if I have to wear a mask forever, I don't care. What's the difference? I'm going to be healthy.
It's an inconvenience. It's different because we haven't had to do it in our lifetime before. And I don't know, during the Spanish flu, did they even have masks?
They did. And masks were a big debate at the time also.
Okay.
And they wound up putting people in jail who refused to wear masks. And, literally, if you read about the pandemic, which I did, and I had watched a show on the 1918 pandemic years and years ago, and then I read up on it again when this hit, and it's amazing how we are literally repeating the same mistakes that they repeated back then. Philadelphia famously back then did not cancel their yearly parade. All other states had canceled it, and Philadelphia was like, no, we're going to do ours, and they did it. And the following week or two, like 2,500 people died.
Yeah. Yeah, we have to just use common sense and do the right thing.
It's a great song. It's a great song in regards to all these, economics plays, the major part in here, and the OJ said for the love of money. You hear that and you're sending folks out. And it's a crapshoot, man. People are taking a chance with their life, and it's like the media is constantly seeding this running away from common sense. They suggesting to you, well, you COVID tired, man. I ain't COVID nothing. You understand? They keep putting all these suggestions to make you want to get out there and spend some money. I looked at my bank account and I smiled, because we done saved some money here. We saved some money here, and I've said many times before, I'm 67. I've done a lot of things, and one thing I know for sure that the things that I'm missing this year and maybe the next year, they're gonna be out there in 2023. There's nothing going nowhere, and nothing gonna change. But the question is, will I be there? So I'm going to do everything I can to stay here so I can get out here in the next year. It's like, why you trying to, it ain't going to hurt you to just sit home a couple of times and miss a few things. You got people right now in this city, they trying to dance. And they trying to go out to the clubs and stuff. Listen, it don't make no sense to have no mask on in the club, right? And then you got to talk loud. And then take the mask off to have a drink. Just
Right.
stay home and had a drink.
Dance your ass off at home.
And
Right.
then drink the cocktail, because I can't see myself taking the mask off.
Right.
Then drinking the cocktail when this virus thing is supposed to be airborne. It could jump on my glass, right?
Yep. Yeah, that's
And
right.
here's the big challenge. Human beings are social animals, right? And so much so that this is what I use to put it in perspective. If you put someone in prison with murderers and rapists and thieves, that's not the worst thing that you can do to them. The worst thing that you can do to them is put them in solitary confinement, right? Because humans need other humans. We are very, very social, but humans are also supposedly adaptable, right? So when a situation changes, you have to adapt. That's, it's not always the strongest of the species that survives. It's the one that's the most adaptable, and we need to be adaptable.
Well, one thing I have noticed is that the advertisements when it comes to African American people, when it comes to getting the vaccine, case in point, watching TV, as we know, the NBA All-Star game and that's happening this weekend, and they had Dr. J and Bill Russell and the greats, saying, "I'm getting the shot." So you have them promoting it, and then I'm listening on my Spotify today, and the advertisement between would be this middle-aged African-American woman saying, "I did the right thing, got the shot." So again, it's for the people who are indecisive, who are saying, "Well, I don't know if I take the shot or not." So I have noticed a pattern since this whole thing started, when it's geared towards African-Americans to make a decision whether to get it or not.
Yeah.
Well, let's move on. I'm just seeing a little news thing here that just popped up. It says YouTube has said it will reverse the ban on Donald Trump's channel. What do y'all think about that? Good idea, bad idea? Quick response, because I want to get to the topics you guys have on your plate tonight so we can keep rocking.
Freedom of speech is a tricky thing. I don't like the idea of censorship. I think it's better to let stupid people have free access to the airwaves so everybody else can figure out how stupid they are.
See, and I like that. I somewhat agree with that statement, but you can see the damage that this buffoon has caused this country, because there's so many people who are easy to be convinced on a stupid idea. So that's the danger in it. And I think that's what, corporate America, these companies that own these outlets, have taken that position. And so I'm kind of 50-50. I'm for free speech, but some speech should not be free.
Yeah,
I know it's a contradiction, but
it's the type of rhetoric. I mean, look, we've seen on documentation, 45, what he's done with his words, what he's done with people, rioting and Becky's call and everything else, and dog whistles and the whole nine. I always go back and quote the great philosopher in cartoons, Scooby-Doo, Rosser Ruck.
Yeah.
Rosser Rock Ram Ruck.
All right, Chris, you got the mic. So what's on your plate tonight?
Well, a good story coming out of Indianapolis, Indiana. The place is Storybrooke Immediate and Middle School. The situation where an 8th grader had his cap on. Now, you go to school in other places, you can't have your cap on inside of the place. And it come to find out that when the principal, Jason Smith, found out, he asked the student, "Well, why you have your cap on?" And he said, "Well, I had a haircut, but it don't look right. It's all uneven, everything else." So the principal said, now usually sometimes they'll just go and send you home for the day, reprimanded and everything else. So he decided, well, look, I cut my son's hair. In fact, when I was playing in high school and college, I cut the team's hair. So let me check with your parents, and I'll get my clippers, and I'll line you up. Contacted the parents. The parents said yeah, and he hooked the young man up. And he felt better about himself the whole day, and the fact that somebody took attention towards him. And another story that came down the pike was the same principal. There was a student who had really bad-looking gym shoes and sneakers. And, people, obviously, kids tease you. They're very relentless. So the principal decided to buy him a new pair of sneakers. The reason I bring the stories up is because people like him to be applauded. And we all know in the media, we watch the news, when it comes to black men, there's always negative, somebody getting shot and killed, or something that's done, as this has been going on since the beginning of time when it comes to broadcasting, when it comes to us as a people. But black men know they'll get it. But here's a black man in an authoritative position to help mold and change lives. He's able to take some time out to help these students one by one. And these stories need to be out there more. In fact, he's an attention seeker. As a matter of fact, the story was galvanized by the school's officer who said, look, this is a good man. He's a great man helping these students. And he was the one that did the story that went on to USA Today and became a focal point. So I want to give credit to, again, Principal Jason Smith for taking time out, and especially young black boys, young black children who have to be male. That's key when we see other black men and black role models in this position to help, because everybody needs attention, especially you're a child going to adolescence of school and just trying to find out who you're going to become. And here's a principal who said, look, I'm going to line you up, I'm going to hook you up, and that attention goes a long way. They have no idea the impact that they'll have on that child's life. So kudos to Principal Jason Smith.
Good job. All right, thanks for that report, Chris Boom Shakalaka. Good report. Let's go to Ron. Ron, what you got on your plate tonight?
Okay. Well, first of all, I want to say thank you all for coming out to Street News Now. You're listening to us here each and every Thursday night. We haven't did a station ID in quite a long time, so I thought I would throw one out there. This station, Street News Now, was and still is created by the legend himself, Mr. Lee Michaels, and we have accumulated a cast of characters like the Professor, Mr. Boom Shakalaka, and now Francisco, the chocolate Yoda? Is that what that says? The chocolate Yoda, and myself. So now moving right along, I had something I wanted to throw out there to see if everyone had an opinion on it. One of the senior advisors to the White House of Mr. Biden, they're saying that they are starting the conversation about reparation. And I don't know if that's something that they're ever going to reach an agreement on, but it was reported by the New York Post that this conversation is starting to take wings and begin to stir. The advisor's name is Cedric Richmond. Reparation has always been a touchy subject when they start talking about, what is owed to the black people of this nation. And some people don't think we're owed anything. So how far it's going to go, what kind of legs it's going to take, is this even a real conversation at this point in time? I know last week before last, I mentioned the fact that Joe Biden was at a crossroad, and he has an opportunity to be able to do more for black people than any other president in history. He has included more black people in his cabinet. He can hear what the issues are. He has appointed people into positions that allow him to be able to hear what is of concern to the black people. And will it make a difference? Will they be able to come up with a dollar amount? Like Gus says, 40 acres of land and a mule. Yeah, that was some time ago. I don't think that's a real answer to some real problems that we have right now. And I don't know. I just wanted to throw it out there as a point of discussion to all of us, because I know we all have, we keep our ear to the media ground. We know what's going on out here in every different part of the country. Is that something that's a reality? I know people feel like part of reparation is free education. I've heard that Harvard and some of those other educational institutions are offering Black people tuition free, as part of reparation, to try and undo some of the unjustness in this country. Come on, Professor. I see that look on your face, man.
Chopping at the bit.
Yeah, he is.
Don't get me started, man. I'm not, I'm trying to stay cool. I'm trying to stay in the background.
No, man, you can't do that, man. Reparation, man. What's your viewpoint? Come on now.
Come on, man. I got to jump in on James Brown. I don't want nobody to give me nothing. Open up the door and I'll get it myself.
Okay.
Change a few laws to make it so I can have this game, have to get in this game so I can play this game myself. Like the tax certificate for radio stations, or like getting some capital somewhere so we can get some banks. So we don't have to keep relying on somebody else all the time to do everything or anything. The reparations, folks going, whatever it is, how you going to determine who's supposed to get what and all this kind of way. And that's the argument that's going to keep us in the same place and we ain't going to get nothing. Just change a few laws so we can do something for ourselves. If you're going to give us free education, I'm cool with that. If you're going to take away the student loan debt after that, I'm cool with that. But get us so we can get freed from being up under you all the time.
All right, got a question for you, Pro. If you had a choice of 40 acres and a John Deere, because I don't want no damn mule, 40 acres and a John Deere or a radio station, which one would you choose?
I'm taking the radio station. I don't know nothing about no farming.
I knew it was going to be your choice.
You knew the answer to that before you even asked.
Yeah.
Communications and pharmaceuticals are the top two industries.
Right.
Top two industries, talking in them drugs. So, Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson, all them cats, whatever is going on, they digging it because they got paid up front.
Yeah, right. They're in a no-lose situation. Even if the drug is good or it's bad, it doesn't matter.
They got paid.
They got paid.
Exactly. They got paid.
But and now my question is, how much money has the United States government paid these three pharmaceutical companies and probably some others that we don't know about? How much money does that come to, and how much money would it have cost if back in February of last year we had shut the country down for 30 to 60 days? Everybody stay home except the essential workers, police, fire, hospital workers, et cetera, and just go out once a week to go grocery shopping, and that's it. How much would that have cost? Would it have cost more than what we have spent on these drugs? And then where would we be today? I think, and this is just my gut feeling, that we would be in a better situation today if everybody just bit the freaking bullet, kept your ass at home, wash your hands, wear your mask, clean your environment. I think we would probably be looking at a different outcome here on the 4th of March, 2021.
Well, we don't have to speculate. The evidence is out there in the form of countries who did that. I did a per capita comparison between us and I think Japan and a few other countries. And it was kind of depressing what I learned. Had America done what these other countries had done, which is what you just described, then there would have been less than 6,000 people dead in America. Again, just comparing, population sizes and going per capita. And it's not that America couldn't have done this. If we look back to the World War II effort and the sacrifice that people were asked to make including food. Americans were told that we had to ration food, and people did it because it was okay to sacrifice a little bit for the greater good. And now when you ask someone, hey, please wear a mask to protect yourself and your fellow human being, people go, I know my rights. It's ridiculous, you know.
Right, but you continue the argument, unfortunately, with people who have made it a political football. And it's not about survival as human beings. It's about, once again, choosing a political side of Democrats and Republicans, which it should not be. We are first and foremost human beings. But if you bind to the playbook, hey, my rights are taken away from me because I'm wearing a mask. I don't want 6 feet distance. I don't want even 12 feet distance. I don't want to wash my hands. I don't even wash my ass. So why are you going to tell me to wear a mask in that situation? So that's where the confusion comes in, because for the sake of humanity, you would think people would be on board, but they're not. It continues to be confusion. It continues to be divide and conquer, because the ones who do it are succeeding at that. And we buy into a hook, line, and sinker. We get all up in our feelings because now we're going to make it, hey, I have a right not to wear a mask. Stupid. We're trying to get out of this pandemic. We all have to work towards it. And if you didn't give a damn about your fellow person, once again, think about your family, your children, and your family members. Think about them. If you gave a damn about them, then maybe you would change your mind and go on with the program and wear the mask and do the things that the CDC and science is asking of you. But if you're just, not of that mindset, you're going to get pushed back.
Yeah. Yeah. We're still dealing with so many unknowns about this pandemic. But, and there are people saying that, well, things are looking better because the curve is going down. But we've seen that curve go down before over the past 12 months, and we've seen it jet back up. Every time we get loose, a major holiday or some major event or events simultaneously around the country, it goes back up because we drop our guard and we get reckless, and then boom, shakalaka, we have to deal with it again like it's something brand new. How many times do we have to keep making the same mistake before we get a bump on our head to realize that I got to stop doing this? It's not working. So I hope that, here's Texas. I've got family members in Texas. I talked to my daughter today, and I told her she was on her way to go get the vaccination. I think it was the Madera one. And I said, are you sure you want to do that? And, I gave her some information that I just received from a medical professional. And she moonwalked away from it. She canceled her thing based on some facts that I shared with her. And I don't want to get into that over the airwaves here because it's a personal thing for me and my family. And as the head of my family, I try to instill common sense into my family. That's all I can control. And not everybody in the family agrees with me. But as the elder of this family, I try to instill common sense and do the right thing. And if you do X, Y, and Z or A, B, and C, then you may not have to do the other thing. So that's kind of how I'm looking at this situation. But folks, do the basics. Just, I don't want to be repetitive, but I feel the need to. Do the things that the scientists are telling us to do. Wear the mask, wash your hands, keep your environment clean, stay out of public unless you have to. And that seems to be working.
The key word is scientists. Dr. Fauci is the doctor. Like, this is like when, how people joke like, oh, he wrote the book. He literally wrote the book on this stuff. Okay. He shepherded America through the AIDS crisis. Like, all of these people that are claiming that he doesn't know what he's talking about. Are you serious? This is America's top doctor. And let's listen to him. Let's listen to the CDC. Let's listen to the WHO. Let's listen to the scientists. Like, everything around us is brought to us by scientists. Let's stop pretending that they don't know what they're talking about.
That's right.
I gotta just talk about the effects on my experience. And I'm not advocating to anyone that you need to do this, but I took them hits. I need those hits. Got to have them, the same ones. And I went and got it. Okay, my experience, man, I was tired for 2 days after I took it. First time. Then, it's like, I feel like my cylinders is running clean. Went back, got it 2 weeks later, got hit, slept. I was tired. 2 days. Cylinders feel like it. I feel like I'm running like a smooth machine now. Now, my understanding is that this thing affects you in a certain, it affects people, or it eliminates the fact of something happening to you when this thing affects you. And I can't afford to be having no issues of no blood clots with me. I can't afford that. Not with me, not with my condition. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna roll the dice. Sometimes you hit the 7, might hit snake out, might hit the ace and the deuce, might hit boxcar. But if you listen, I seen seniors that were older than myself taking it. Okay. And people are trying to live. They're trying to live. But again, I have to go back to saying, even though I have this, and because somebody asked me, they say, well, you got it. You can go out there. I said, no, I can't. Because I don't know about what everybody else got. I don't know what everybody else is doing. So I'm going to stay cool. Like I said before, and I'm going to repeat this again. When we can go to them sports activities, when they let 100,000 people in Soldier Field, when they let people in the Bulls game or in any one of these sports activities anywhere around this country at any time, then I'm cool. But until that time, quarantine, I'm laying down. But it just made me tired. It just made me tired, made my wife tired. So we had to separate. So like on the day I got it, 2 days I was down, she had to handle everything. The day she got it, I knew 2 days she was going to be down. I had to handle everything. So, so like for both of us, that it took us down a week. But now all the cylinders, we running cool now. We running good.
No other side effects or
no other side effect. You
didn't stop barking at the moon or anything like that?
Yeah, no, man. At first I was scared, and I was looking at the calendar to see if it was gonna be a full moon, because I didn't want to turn into the wolf man.
Right.
No strange taste for blood or anything like that.
No, that's Dracula, man. If anything, I'm gonna be a wolf man. But because I told the doctor, I said, dude, if you hit me wrong, I'm gonna turn into the Hulk and I'm gonna tear this whole place up. So, but when they hit you, it must be that they must put anesthesia on you, because they
you don't
hit
feel
you.
it?
Yeah, they hit you so fast. I'm sitting up there, I'm still talking. I said, man, dude, if you do this wrong, my fist is balling up, and this cat is putting the Band-Aid on me.
You're still talking crap, and he's done.
He put the Band-Aid on me, and I done got up out the seat. But then you go over there and you sit down and you got to wait your 15 minutes. And but the first time I got my hit, I went straight out, man. Me and Morgan, I took Morgan with me. Me and Morgan went straight shopping. We went to the store. But when I got home that evening, oh man. But when I
run out of
home,
gas, huh?
I was totally out of gas. Slept with all my clothes on. I just
some people talk about discomfort, from the shot.
Oh yeah,
a couple of days.
Yeah, but it's working then. You know it's working then. It's in you. But if it's different strokes for different folks, the decision comes down to what you feel about what you have to do for your body. And I'm good with that. But listen, I listened to the Payback, that last verse of the Payback. Just before you say da dee da 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 dee da 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 dee da da, and I went on and took my shot. You know, I took
Okay.
it.
Well, good.
it's funny.
You'll be our in-house guinea pig to report.
Yes,
There
sir.
you go.
Now, how long ago was the second shot? How many days ago is
It was last Wednesday. I
Last
had it,
Wednesday,
and then I came on, and I was tired last Thursday. You know, I was still tired. You know, but last Wednesday that was fine. But that Friday, I'm feeling better, and then I'm running on all cylinders now. You know.
Okay. Well, they say that
Yeah.
first 2 weeks, after your second shot is the danger zone. If you make it past 2 weeks, and you might be okay.
Yeah. So
real quick, I just want to jump on what
So
Professor.
if you're on the
Miles
air
talked
next
about.
Thursday, you're good.
Yeah, so Red, you talked about like the capacity at, say, Soldier Field or United Center. On the side note, kind of leading to that. So the NBA, James Harden, as you follow it, was traded from Houston to the Brooklyn Nets, and so the Brooklyn Nets will return to Houston, for him for the first time he's been in Houston for 7 years. So he was saying, "Well, I hope they don't boo me." It's like 10 people, at the place.
Right.
If they boo you, so what?
Yeah, right.
It's not full capacity yet. It's like 10 people, and the people, that mop up the sweat when the guys fall on the court. Okay, 11. Okay, that's about it. So it goes to show you the mentality of capacity that we need to get back there in time, in baby steps, and we will one day.
Yeah, and I'm looking at, realistically for me, if they took it to 2024, I'm cool with that. I'm really cool with that. If we go into increments at a time, but places that's done opened it up and stuff like that, I'm not going there, and I don't want to see no people from there.
I hear you. I want to be at the end of this, not a part of it. I want to see the ending to this whole pandemic. So I'm going to do everything I can personally do for me and my family to see the end of this. I want to be able to talk about, I remember the pandemic, 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And it was bad, man. It was real bad. A lot of people died, 600,000 or whatever it's going to end up being. But I don't want to be a part of that didn't make it. So I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that I don't screw up.
There you go.
That's what we all need to do.
Now, the answer to your question, you said how much money was the pharmaceutical company paid? My co-host on Tuesday, Miss Fiona, came up with the magic number: $10 billion in taxpayer dollars to the pharmaceutical companies to create this vaccination. Yep.
That's so
Can't
far.
knock the hustle.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's so far. We may have to deal with this on an annual basis, like a flu shot.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I understand that the flu season was light this year, or is light. That and I think that has a lot to do with people washing their damn hands and not hugging and kissing and high-fiving and hanging out at the club and all of that. So there's a lot to learn. There's lessons to consume through this tough time.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Maybe we need to change our lifestyles a bit. Maybe we shouldn't be out doing the hubba so much.
Now, you mean walking at the Steppers Club?
Yeah. Well, I mean, they ain't moving too fast no way. So
Well, I don't think
Most of them in wheelchairs.
I don't think walking got to. anything because it's
and
airborne.
you stepped on his toes now because
Yeah,
he's a
when you
walker.
said that, man. But you know that. You couldn't do that. So, but
That's a trigger word.
I specifically said walking.
Yeah,
I know
but
that's a specific demographic, ain't it?
well, look,
But he's a walker.
I'm not.
Yeah,
even,
the walkers.
I'm not even. I'm not gonna even trip on that. I'm tripping on the fact that I got this mask on, and if I'm trying to drink my wine, I got to take this mask off to drink my wine.
Right.
I'm not dealing with that period. It's just not that serious. I'm not gonna. I'm sitting in the place, and I'm gonna take. Man, bump that. I'll be tired. Just taking the mask off and on, and then it'll get mad. Then it'll get mad, and then somebody that ain't doing it, and that's the question. Somebody that has not done it and cannot social distancing will keep that mask off. Man, they could tear me up. Can't take a chance on that, baby.
Yeah.
Now, has
No.
everybody got their report out tonight?
Francisco had one, didn't he?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Come on, do your thing, chicken wing. Knock it out the
Well,
park.
yeah, the thing that got my attention this week is that we're going to party like it's 1965. The Republicans want to essentially destroy the Voting Act of 65. And, you know, aside from the obvious, which is they've now conceded the idea that they cannot win unless they change the game. But aside from that, there's an aspect of the voting rights that really no one ever talks about, because America is referred to as a democracy, but literally it just became a democracy 55 years ago. If everybody couldn't vote, if everyone couldn't participate in the process of electing public servants, then it wasn't a full democracy. You know, women got the vote in 1920, and then 45 years later, finally, Black and brown people got in on the situation. So it's really odd to me that an entire party has just ceded the high ground. They just are out of ideas. They're saying, we're not going to try to convince you through normal means that we deserve to be leaders in America. We're just going to make sure to, you know, mess up the process so that we disenfranchise as many people as possible. And I don't know why people aren't screaming about this, because when I saw that headline, I was like, this is insanity. How does, you know, it resembles a banana republic more than anything else. I don't really understand what's happening in America these days, but this is a really bad sign that an entire party is just like, yeah, the only way that we have a chance of winning is if we cheat and if we stop people from voting. So that's my take.
Well said. And I think that we just got to knuckle down, hunker down, and do the right thing. And the whole voting thing is very near and dear to my heart, because if you don't have a voice, if you are not participating in the process, then shame on you. You really don't have a reason to complain about anything. If you think your voice is not important, shame on you. It is. Every voice helps. Every voice has an impact. Look at the 2020 election. If 8 million people thought that their voice didn't matter, we would have Donald Trump again.
Yeah.
Think about it. It had the biggest turnout of all time, forever. And that's because people were sick and tired of being sick and tired. And even on the Republican side, they came out to be heard and seen and felt, and God bless them. You know, you participated in the process, but not enough people thought the same way. And that's how we got Joe Biden.
Yeah.
Because the majority of the people
if we really want real democracy, I think we have to eliminate the Electoral College. It literally exists to appease slave-owning states. Let's do away with it. One man, one vote, period, or one person, one vote, period. End of story. That's the only time America is going to be a full democracy, is if that Electoral College is eliminated.
I hope I live long enough to see that. And there are two things that I, in question, or more than two, but two that pops out just based on what we've talked about tonight: reparations and getting rid of the Electoral College. In my lifetime, I don't know.
That would be huge.
I think the blueprint is out there. I think that less focus has to be made on the rep cons, and I think we need to focus on what we can do for ourselves, and that is through registering our young people to vote and to educating our people on what civics are, because the cable news networks on both ends, they have both gotten extreme, and it's like we're so far apart that you can't seem to find the middle ground anywhere anymore. And intelligent decisions can't be made because it's too much emotionalism going on about that which is happening. So the Street News Network, we're gonna have to get down and become foot soldiers and start educating people in a different way as to how to look for alternatives to the far left and far right information that they're hearing. Some stuff we just need to ignore, let go in one ear and come out the other. We don't have to digest and ingest and react to everything that we hear, because that's what really they want us to do. Because when your head is going like this for a little while, you ain't gonna be able to focus on nothing because you're being pulled. We just need to say, listen, y'all say this and y'all say that, but if you want my vote, you need to come at me like a block. And you need to come and show me what you gonna give me in order to get my vote. You understand? Because, and I'm gonna say it, there are dim comms and there are rep comms. It depends on which con you want to be conned by. So whichever con brings the better deal, that's the one I'm gonna deal with from here on out. Because we got to make our value, what we have that's precious and what's so mean and dear to us, we got to make that mean the most. Because listen, the Democrats that we're, I pledge allegiance to all the Democrats. Those were the Dixiecrats back in the day. They was tearing us up. And these cats, these Republicans today, they done turned back into them Dixiecrats. And so we got to study this Reaganism thing. Once we get to understand and debunk that myth of that actor, then we'll understand that this reality TV star is going to do no good for us either. And so the ones that's claiming they're going to help us, we need to put their foot to the fire. Don't give me that talk. Show me in programs what you're going to do. Are we going to be able to have a real vote now? Why is it every 50 years that the question of my voting has to be debated by you? I'm a human being. I am supposed to vote. I'm a human being. My color, whatever, if I was this or that, has nothing to do with it. I'm here now over 400 years. I'm here now over 400 years. You don't declassify me into nothing like I'm full. Because where this country is came from the blood, sweat off the back of my ancestors. Mine.
Reggie, the young lady said, who's the Decepticons?
Oh,
Repcons.
The Republicans.
It's a question. It's on the screen.
Yeah, the Republicans and the Democrats, they're both cons. They're both they're political parties. They're both conning us. They're both using us. I mean, the Democrats love us when they need us to go against this silent white majority that wants to keep this Reaganism in. Then all of a sudden they're pandering to us and we got to bring them over. It's a come to Jesus moment and all this kind of everything to get them over the hump. But this time, you all got to stay the long haul. And if we're going to make our changes, we got to follow the blueprint of that woman, Miss Abrams. How she did her organize, Georgia is the blueprint for us. What they did in Georgia, that's the blueprint.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Professor. You always come in with some heavy, profound statements, and we love you for that. Keeping it real. Yeah. And is anybody else?
Well,
closing remarks?
I just want to piggyback off of what he just said. We said this when we started this show that the work is not over yet. We have to continue being, out front, leading people, giving them enough information to make intelligent decisions off of. And every week that we show up, we bring something to the table for people to marinate on and be able to make good decisions off of. So the work is not over, and we're going to continue showing up to try and make sure that we give you enough ammunition to be able to do some research. And we're going to give you a place to look, to start, but write letters, reach out to your local officials. You can't give up. You can't sit back and wait on somebody else to do the work. I mean, I'm writing letters and sending them out. I done sent more letters to Washington, D.C. I don't know if they're getting through the barbed wire or not, but I didn't send them.
Oh, good. That's important.
Yeah.
And I encourage everybody to do so.
Yeah. If you've got something that is a passion in your heart, write it down and send it in. I know that's that little thing with the paper, with the eraser, and all of that. It's a paper and pencil. Put your thoughts to paper and pencil and send it to somebody so that they can know.
Yeah, send it to your rep.
Yeah, so that they can know.
They work for you. They work for you. So make them do their job.
Yeah.
On the screen, I have the sign up page at streetnewsnow.com. If you would like to join our team and become a correspondent, reporter, wherever you are, anywhere around the country, the world really, but I like to focus in on the U.S. because that's where we are. And all you have to do is go to the page, streetnewsnow.com, and click on Street Reporters Sign Up. And fill it out. It'll come directly to me. I'll contact you and get you all hooked up. And you can be a part of our team and you can report. All you need is a cell phone. That's it. In this day and time, the technology is so good on one of these little cell phones that, yes, you can report live from the street or record it and send it in to us, and you will be live on Street News Now. So join us. I welcome your involvement. Thank you. Go ahead, Reverend.
Okay. I did see 2 movies though. If we can go somewhere though, I did see Judas and the Messiah, and I did see the United States versus Billie Holiday. Yeah, I watched both of them.
Wait, did you watch them at home or you went out to see?
Yeah, I watched. Oh, come on, man.
I'm just checking. I don't know.
Cook my popcorn, and had cooked my popcorn, had my juice, and checked it out.
On your Sammy song?
No, not on the Sammy song. I was on my Apple. I was on my Apple, and I watched it.
Is there a difference between Samsung and Apple? Is it really?
Not really, because both of the pods come from there, and plus I got Yamaha speakers. So what can I say, right?
There you go.
Okay, so there it is. So, but I did watch it, and then
too funny.
The attack that they put on Miss Holiday.
Yeah.
Oh man, that. And then but what I really want to point out though is that the fluff we got from Lady Sing the Blues, and then the reality we got from the United States versus Billie Holiday, and then the notion or the suggestion that most people were saying that she should be given the tab of the mother of the civil rights movement, because of what she went through over Strange Fruit.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
how can you hate somebody over a song?
Yeah, well.
Oh, easy. I mean, we all know this, the power of influence.
Absolutely.
You make people think.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't want people to think, especially if you're trying to give out a false narrative, a negative narrative when it comes to people of color. So yeah, songs, lyrics, as we know, are very, very powerful. And that's what happened to Miss Lady Day there. My dad will listen to Billie Holiday all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And Strange Fruit was one of his favorites. And as a kid, you don't process things yet. My dad will, listen to the song and start to cry. And I never could understand that. I mean, like, you don't want to see your dad cry. I'm like, Dad, well, as long as he ain't beating my ass, you cry all you want to. Go right ahead. But, but I couldn't understand why he did it. And then when I got a chance to get older, obviously hear the song myself, I cried. And so now, when you understand these heroes, they have been shelved. They have been put to the side because nobody wants to hear the real deal. We have to control our narratives. I'm glad you got a chance to win the Emmy. I'm glad you got a chance to get it out there because this has been in the background. I've heard these rumors for years about the United States and the FBI coming after her. Now it gives people the chance to research and realize the importance not only of a singer, but a person who galvanized. I go along with what the professor said about galvanizing the civil rights movement. It's amazing.
Man, they had her in the film, and this is true because I checked it out. Man, they had that one. She was dying of cirrhosis of the liver, and they still had her shackled to the bed.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah.
I was totally angry. I got totally because I like many of us, and this comes down to the importance of us being able to tell our own stories and present our own information. I was totally, taken by the fluff and the glamour of Lady Sings the Blues, which was produced by Barry Gordy and all that stuff. And I understood, I understand now what he was doing, as far as him making money on it, but for us not to know about what that woman went through.
There's so many stories and struggles that people have gone through that we don't know anything about. We can speculate. You can put it in a time frame that during the early 1900s or late 80s on up, shit was real bad. It's gotten better, but just try to put yourself in that time frame. Put yourself back at 1850. Can you imagine? Or 1492.
Man, and that Hoover was a monster, man. This man focused on a 21-year-old young man and wanted to assassinate him for wanting to have unity among his people.
Not just wanted, but he did. He successfully.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he's successful.
And one of the glaring things that's not mentioned about the BPP, the Black Panther Party, was that their strength actually came from the women. The women were the one that was pushing. The men were just the warriors, but it was the sisters who were the front people, really.
That's always the case. Sure.
Yeah. And that
Big Mama and them.
Yeah, and that just blew my mind. That just blew my mind because at least the way they depicted him. But the media, we always got to find something, to argue about as opposed to, getting to the facts of this film, right? So then now they mad because the British actor had to play this brother.
Yeah, I caught that. Yeah. It's like you can't win for losing. Daniel Kalula, played Fred Hampton. I mean, come on, man. Look, the family gave the blessing for the actor to play the role.
Yeah.
Was he the best person for the job?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he did a great job. Yeah.
That's what I heard.
Man, especially after seeing the actual clips of the chairman and then comparing to his performance.
Yeah.
The bottom line in that is going to be unity, which I hope people don't sleep on and that they get and don't fall into the the whatever political ideology. Oh man, Black Panther, they wasn't nothing but a bunch of revolutionary N-words. And it wasn't like that. They had free health care and child care.
Yep. And don't forget, a lot of the preschool, the school lunches, all of those things came out of their programming.
Right.
That's how they started out.
The organization that they established, like community health care, all of these things still exist in 2021. Those are still our battle cries today. Why don't we still have enough healthcare in our community? And even the mayor of the city of Chicago is still trying to feed the children. even though school was not in place, they still kept food going because families were having a hard enough time getting meals. So these programs to this day, even though they have, made them an organization that was not good for America, they were good for our communities. Okay. And then they spread it out into other communities as well. But first started at home on the south side and the west side of Chicago. And then they saw the goodness in it and let it go, because it was in LA. It was in New York. These organizations were nationwide. And if you Google the Black Panther Party, which I encourage everybody to do, go look at some of the things that were part of their programming and what they were able to do. And you'll find out that they're excellent programs, and you'll see that, oh, is that what they did? They were responsible for that. Be aware, make yourself aware. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Can you imagine if the internet was around during that time?
Man. I think then that our self-hate probably wouldn't have lasted as long, because for some of us, you couldn't, man, if you had to call me black, we was gonna fight, because I was either colored or Negro. And it wasn't until after James said loud, that we started easing up on that. But it was some things that as a people we had to go through, man. We went on and we went on and accepted that Negro and colored. We was gonna deal with that. But you wasn't gonna you couldn't call no black, because you was gonna get a fight. Because we was, that was that black self-hate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, all those organizations, as we all know, were very thoroughly infiltrated, as we've seen in movies, that we've seen in documentation, into the books that we read, the other books that we read, not his version, but our version as told to us. When you take the ability away from people to nourish their communities, to embrace their communities, to love them, to put their arms around them, when you take away the ability to seed the future of these children, because people see and hear what they do. So the positive effects that could have happened could have been fantastic. But when you have, for example, a COINTELPRO that happened, you put drugs in the community that destroyed us completely. And we never really bounced back from that. When you have the ability to, and excuse my language, mind fuck all of us, to hate ourselves on GP, they've already won. When you do the ability to take somebody out like a Chairman Fred Hampton Sr. in the height of his power and popularity to help his people, you take him out. When you see the footage of all those bullet holes in his home, and then the stark realization of the strings that they put through all those holes through his home, it's impossible to survive it. And the people, it's amazing that anybody did, like his wife. My thing is, you do that, it gives the message. He's taken out, we took him out, don't even try to take his place. The same with Malcolm X, the same with Dr. King, the same with Medgar Evers. It's done for a reason, because their message was too powerful for the future of Black people.
Man.
Amen.
The 60s was the decade of assassinations. And it didn't stop at just Black and brown people. I mean, they killed JFK.
Correct.
And then even before Bobby Kennedy got the nomination, they took him out because they knew he probably was going to be the next president. So, I mean, it's crazy. And when you think about everything that we've talked about tonight in terms of a race of people that have been denied knowledge of their own history, then it starts to answer the question of why civics is not taught in school anymore.
By design.
It was deregulated. It was Reaganized. The Repcons got it. Freedom. Learn everything, but except how this government works. Give them everything. Give them this, give them that, but nothing about how this government works.
It's amazing how everything ties in. You mentioned before about Bobby Kennedy, who's obviously next up to be the next president. Unfortunately, after assassinated his brother John, it was Bobby Kennedy in Indianapolis, administered by Indianapolis, Indiana, who broke to an all-Negro, then called Negro crowd by the assassination of Dr. King. He broke the news to them. And he had the commonality in the speech. My brother was assassinated by a white man. So when you make speeches like that, it's an ability to bring everybody together. And we got to focus on that right now. Bring everybody together.
Great. Great points, guys. Let's do it again next week. 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central, 6 o'clock here on the West Coast. Thanks, guys. Great show. Be safe, be kind, wear your mask, wash your hands, and we'll see you next week.
SNN Street News Now.